Welcome back to another Mixed and Married podcast. Today, you guys, the topic is blended families and
God, spouse, or kids first. Which comes first in your relationship?
Yeah.
Or which should come first in your relationship?
So that's what we're going to talk about today, you guys. We're going to get deep and dirty, okay?
Deep and dirty. I like that.
We get this question a lot on our lives, so this is what we're going to tap into.
A lot of people have a very opinionated on these subjects.
Yeah,
really.
Blended families and
who should come first in the relationship. Yeah, we get that, quite a bit, yes.
Yeah. So let's touch a little bit on blended families. Mm-hmm. How did you feel? If you don't know us, this is my second marriage. This is Jason's third marriage. So let's ask Jason the question. These are things he didn't even know I was going to ask him, you guys. How do you feel about blended families? When we got together, how was it for you? How did you feel?
It really wasn't an issue with me because my second marriage that I went into, she had already had a child prior. So I was used to that aspect of already having, another child involved. Plus with you, I knew you with our history of our friendship and stuff like that. I knew, if we were going to be together, what it was going to include.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
It's not like we had just met and then we, she's got 3 kids. And then I can understand like with people fresh, just meeting somebody new, you're not only meeting somebody new, well, they have 2 kids or 3 kids or, then that's when the spouse, the ex-spouse, or the baby mother or father or whatever kicks into play too. I can understand why a lot of people have issues with that and why people can be hesitant because it's not just you and me involved anymore.
Yeah.
It can be a lot. Because just our marriage takes work.
And going into a new marriage.
Yes, and then you throw kids in the mix and then you throw ex-spouses or ex baby mamas or daddies in the mix.
It's a lot.
It can be a lot. It can be overwhelming.
And depending on what the kids' ages are, that is also a factor, you guys. There's a lot of factors that roll into one. That's why we always say the number one thing in a marriage is what?
Communication. Yes, definitely.
Communication is key because these are things you're going to have to talk about.
It will not work if you don't communicate. Especially you start throwing other people into the mix as well.
Yeah. So how do you feel about women with kids? Since you're the man, how do you feel about dating somebody that has kids? This is for people who have kids who maybe feel some type of way about that, especially getting out of a relationship, going into another relationship with more than one kid. How do you feel about?
I'll be honest. I think through all my dating times, I might have dated one person that didn't have a child. Maybe one. I don't know. I think I would probably lean, me being a father myself and already having kids, I would be more prone to be looking for somebody who actually had kids.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Then they know what it's like to be a parent. They know what it's like to, have to deal with, children and exes or whatnot. I believe it's harder on people that haven't had kids and that haven't had to deal with, what do you mean? Your kids are going to be here this weekend, or what do you mean that we have to? Why is your ex? Why do you have to speak to her, or why do you have to speak to him?
Yeah.
So that stuff like that causes issues and drama and stuff like that. And for somebody who's not ever dealt with it or prepared for that, that's a whole nother added extra. I dated somebody and she couldn't understand why I wouldn't let her meet the kids. Hang on, hang on. The kids ain't. I'm not ready. The kids ain't ready. It's not. Yeah. It's got to be to a certain level before you come in and meet the kids.
Yeah, I feel the same way too about meeting the kids. For me, as you know, he's the second person that my kids had ever seen me with. My kids have only seen me with 2 people, their dad and this man here. That's all they know, because I had to make sure that the person that was coming into my life after my divorce, and I waited, you guys, it was about 4 years in between my divorce and me and Jason actually getting together.
Right.
So I also feel like you have to take some time to yourself. I say this all the time. I see women and men, but I'm speaking for women because I am a woman, just hopping into relationships. Sometimes I feel like, is it that you're lonely? What could that be? I've never understood that myself personally.
And men too. I did that. I hopped, and it wasn't something like, I just wanted. I hopped into, from a relationship to a relationship, and it's probably probably because I was searching for what we have now, trying to find that stability. You know, people are looking for certain things. They want certain things out of a relationship and out of life. And until you find that somebody, you usually have two types. To me, you usually have two types of people. You'll have the people that will keep searching and searching and searching. So it don't matter how many relationships they can jump into. So they're gonna until they find what they're looking for, they're gonna try to get it. Then you have the other people just I don't even want to be in a relationship. So I'm just gonna if it comes to me, it comes to me. If not, I'm just gonna be single and do what I gotta do.
See, I was on that side. You know what I mean?
See, and we were total opposite of the spectrum.
Yeah. So because I was the type of person where it's like, hey, I'm gonna work on me, and when he comes, I'm ready, credit ready. Everything's ready. I'm in shape. I mean, I'm just a fitness person, but I was ready for whoever that may have been. So you're gonna have to come correct. That's just kind of how I was. And I think, but that's a good point, though.
And I think a lot of it's how we're raised. So, and not necessarily how we're raised. It's the situation we're raised in.
Got it.
And not to say that not to say that we were raised to be a certain kind of way. Yeah. It was what we were subjected to as kids. Like I always wanted to be, because of my situation as a kid, I always wanted to be a good father. I wanted to make sure to be a good father. Yeah. And I wanted to be a father. Yeah. You know what I mean? So that's something I wanted to be as a man. I wanted to be a father, and I wanted to be a good father. Yeah. I wanted to have it turned out totally opposite. I wanted to have a good, stable, marriage. A strong, good, stable marriage. And for the longest I didn't. And I think I was searching, for that. And I just kept on, sometimes to a detriment to myself. You know what I mean? Didn't always put the kids in the healthiest environment. Wasn't fair to the other people that I encountered and I was with throughout the years too. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
makes sense.
It's not to their fault and not all on me either. You know what I mean? It's like I said that I've said before, 50-50 at least. I feel like when you're searching for that need, what you have the need or the emptiness. Yes, what you're
emptiness.
missing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's, you're not looking at, can I am I going to hurt this person? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because it's just what you feel like you're missing. Yeah. So if this person ain't giving it to you, it's almost like, okay, I'm done. So it's, it's not to be mean, or if you're not in a marriage, I think it's just too easy to walk away from and say, okay, yeah. And the kids ain't even by that person, or you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's probably easy to, and not to say that that's right or wrong. I think that's the kind of just the situation that it was.
Yeah. And I hear that a lot too from women that they don't even want to be married anymore after being married.
We hear that a lot.
My opinion is marriage is a covenant, and that's how I feel about that. So for me, if I was going to get into another relationship, even when there were times when I didn't want to be in another relationship, it's a covenant. Who wants to put a lot of time into a relationship, building things together, and not be married? Because if something happens, not that we focus on that, but think about it, you guys. You guys can say common law married all day long. When we're talking about blended families, y'all don't understand what could happen because y'all never got married. So I do want to just put that in there, just add that, because we do get a lot of people say, hey, we're good with just being together. But if you keep on building, especially building legacies, and something happens and you got a blended family, somebody's going to be in trouble. That's not what you're looking for. I wouldn't be, my personal opinion, living with somebody. Mom always said, why buy the cow if you can get the milk for free? Yeah. And I know a lot of people these days, they're not on those type of terms, but call me old school. That's kind of how I feel.
And I think it is different nowadays. I don't know if it's just society as a whole, or if it's just the things that, that our generation went through, and with all the divorces and stuff like that, all the kids, all the things that these kids see, we might be frightening our younger adults away from getting into marriages because they've seen all the divorces. They've seen how powerful and hurtful and stuff like that it can be. Because a lot of times, most times, it seems like it comes out, nasty. I don't think it's because the people hate each other. I think it's just the hurt. Yeah. And people, just human nature, people being hurt like that, you automatically, they're hurting me, so they're gonna, you know what I mean? So they're gonna feel it back. Yeah. Or I'm gonna, I ain't gonna just let them, get away with that, and so we end up hurting each other, and then the kids get hurt in the process. Yeah. And then they experience all that, and they be like, why would I want to get married?
Yeah. And that's definitely true, especially, like I said, depending on the age of the kids. There's a certain level of talking that we as parents need to do to our kids to help them understand. Yeah. But of course, if they are younger, they're not gonna understand. No. All they're gonna be is like, okay, where's my mom? Where's my dad? And we have to literally think about those things as we're getting into other relationships.
Yeah.
Which is a reason why I dated a couple times, and to be honest, dating was not for me. For me personally, having one girl at the time, I knew she was looking at me. So I wanted to show her. She had already been through, some traumatizing things as far as me and her dad separating. But then I knew I had to really tread lightly as far as who I let them see, how I bring them into my life. I had to really think about all those things because it does affect the kids.
Yeah.
Not that my kids determine, or any kids determine, who it is that you should be dating, should or should not be dating. Yeah. But we do have to tread a little bit lightly because they've been through some things.
I mean, we have to take their feelings into perspective.
Yeah.
Also, like you said, you can't allow them to say who you are or not going to date. It's not for them to choose. That's not for them to choose.
Because sometimes kids can do that.
And they're not always going to like the person that you choose. And that could be the person that's for you.
Yeah.
At this age and this stage of my life, I would hate to be out there in the dating world.
Yeah.
It's a lot. I can't imagine. I can't imagine.
And we understand that the dating world right now is a lot. Blended families, you guys. For me, when me and Jason were getting together, I was living in another state. I am originally from Texas. We are in Texas right now. I moved to Denver, if you saw the first video. Originally, I didn't know if I was going to come back to Texas. I wanted to. I just didn't know how I was going to go about doing it.
And then also originally when we really started getting serious, I was talking about moving there.
To
Denver.
Yeah. So that was a factor for me because my kids going through what they went through with the divorce in itself, and then me uprooting them. Yeah. These are things that I had to think about. I will say this. He was willing, once we got serious, he was ready, willing. You guys had a job lined up, all that stuff, as you guys know from the first video. Yeah. And able to move to Denver and we start our life. I can't stand snow, you guys. I like snow if I'm looking at it out the window.
It's hot here now and she has a blanket on.
So. Yeah. So I just love Texas. I love Texas. The cost of living is I don't think just as a general, we would have had the same lifestyle that we have now. I'm pretty sure we would have fought hard for it, but you don't get the same house you get in Denver for the amount that we paid. Yeah. So all these things were factors. So that is what prompted me, and plus his daughter was a teenager. So as a mom, I looked at all those factors and communication. We spoke about it and we decided to, hey, let's move on back to Texas. Was my kids okay with it? They were mixed about it because their dad was there and then I'm moving back to Texas. So it was a very, very hard decision. Yeah. But at the same time, there were factors.
Well, one of them was already graduating and about to go off to college. The other one was in high school, so I think it was hardest on him. Sydney was still pretty young. So I don't think it's something that she wanted to do, but Sydney didn't care. Sydney was going to go wherever you went, so it didn't matter. So because to that point.
Because that's all my kids know. It's Denver. All these things were factors, but again, we had to communicate. We had to do what was best for me and him because we were on the verge of marriage at that point. So
we already knew that's what we were going to do. One way or another, we were going to get married. We had planned on getting married. We was planning on being together. It was just where.
So we had to really think about that. And then with the situation that I was currently going through, in order for me to take care of my kids in a comfortable way, I had to make a decision. So that is the decision that I made, and it was to move back to Texas and we start our life here. So when it comes to blended families, for me, introducing them to Jason was a scary time for me because I didn't know exactly how they would feel about him. It has nothing to do with his color. As you guys all know, my first husband was black. It was more of, okay, are we going back to Texas? And all they knew was their dad, and then I'm in a relationship with another person that's not their dad. So that was a lot for them to take in. And I thought about all those things, and it was a scary time for me to even introduce my kids to Jason. Ultimately, I did. Ultimately, my kids ended up loving him.
And then before we even decided to move back here, I had already been around them for
a while.
At least a year.
Yeah.
At least.
Because he was
And
coming back and
probably
forth.
more, a little bit longer than a year.
Yeah.
So.
He was flying back and forth, you guys. So even though we lived in different states, he proved that
so it wasn't going.
We needed to be together.
It wasn't like it was going to be.
Yeah.
Here I am.
Yeah, out of nowhere.
And then all of a sudden we're living together.
Yeah. So he had been coming every month, spending time with the kids, spending time with me. I'm looking at those things. My kids are looking at that. They're looking at how he's interacting with me.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, he loves my mom.
Yeah.
So, and I knew that he really was the one because of all these little things that he was doing. Flying back and forth, making sure that he gave me quality time. Just all those little factors played a thing in it. But my kids ended up, you guys,
stuff like that just kind of seals the deal.
Yeah.
Just
it puts the icing on the cake.
You already know how you feel.
Yeah.
Okay, I really think this is the way I'm leaning. But it's like, all right, this right here.
Is this gonna play out like I really want it to?
This seals the deal. Yeah.
That's kind of how it was. Kids ultimately loved him. My kids, to me, I always say this to a lot of people that they just played their cards right. Their dad had a significant other, a girlfriend at the time, and I had a boyfriend. And I always jokingly say, they were like, okay, we can make Christmas bad or good for us, or we can all win.
Yeah.
So I don't know if my 3 kids talked about it or what. I don't know what they did, but they didn't give their dad any problems, nor did they give us any problems, which is a blessing because we know that does not happen in a lot of situations.
Yeah. And with my situation, my kids, my son was older. He's the oldest out of all the kids. He was already graduating. At that point, it wasn't really going to affect him as much. Just the 2 older boys, it wasn't really going to affect as much. But my daughter, she was a young teenager.
Yeah.
And she was already going through some, just teenage issues. Anyway, me and her mother, we had our issues. We could get along sometimes and sometimes we couldn't. And I bet that was just kind of our history. Once I started seeing Londra, my life kind of changed, period. It was a big speed bump to my youngest. And my ex, because it's like now somebody's in the picture that we're it's not gonna be the back and forth stuff.
Yeah,
it's we're setting boundaries and stuff like that. It helped her just as much as it helped me. As far as my ex, I don't know. I guess I'm not saying it wouldn't be closure because that was already done. It gave her like, okay, let me move and do this. Let's move accordingly and do what we need to do. Yeah. So Jada took it a little hard, and I don't think it was like hard because she loved the kids. She had already met all the kids. She had met Londra. Yeah. There was no issues. I think it was just her loyalty to her mama. I understood.
And I also understood.
And she never became an issue or a problem with us. Yeah. And she's never been disrespectful with it. We've never had that kind of issue. She's just the closeness between me and her kind of faded. Yeah. And that was hurtful. Yeah. It was hurtful. And we still have our struggles to this day. We still talk and text and see each other. Just like with all the other kids. Not as much as I would like. But, she knows I love her and I know she loves me. Yeah. Out of all the kids, I know that was the one that put the most strain on the relationships.
Yeah. And I definitely understood that. That's why it wasn't a problem. As a woman or a man, you got to know when to step back a little bit.
And I think that at that time, probably the worst thing you could have done would have been push to try to make her
make her like me or something like that.
That probably would have pushed her away even farther.
And that may be like what he just mentioned is because I already had kids. Yeah. I had to put my daughter in that situation, my boys. I had to put that into perspective. So it gave me a little bit more understanding for the situation. I wasn't going to push myself on his daughter because I'm not her mom. I will never be her mom.
And to this day, when she comes over, it's like everybody gets along fine.
Yeah, it's no problems like that. It's not like disrespect, somebody saying all the nasty things.
It's not the closeness that we would like to have. Yeah. That's ideal to us, I guess. Because,
you got this other person coming in the picture. Now she's spending more time with my dad. I get it, you guys. And we
probably feels like that took my dad away. Yeah.
We as adults, I think we need to really understand that when it comes to blended families. If it gets to disrespect and say, the parent, whichever parent it is, doesn't put that into check, that's an issue. Yeah. But I'm talking about kids that are not disrespectful, have not ever given me any trouble, anything like that. You can just see the pullback. Those type of situations is what I'm talking about. Yeah. Now, if you're having situations where the kids are being disrespectful to the other parents, that is an issue. That is an issue that needs to be addressed. Yeah. And it needs to be addressed fast.
Well, that also goes into the other situation or topic we was trying to touch on too was the who do you put first in the relationship? God, spouse, kids, or even mothers, the significant others, mothers or in-laws.
Not that we have that issue, but
I mean people do.
Yeah.
And people don't, there's a lot of people who don't know how to prioritize prioritize who should be first in their marriage.
When we talk about relationships, you guys, in this setting, we're talking about marriages.
Yeah.
You have to prioritize your marriage.
Yeah.
If you don't have a good marriage, what do you think is going to happen to the kids?
Yeah. And if you're a believer like we are, I mean, God
first.
Is
always
God's
going
to come first.
Yeah.
So if you're a Christian and you believe in that, God is God first, your spouse, then your kids, and then everybody else. Mm-hmm. And that's the way we live. Uh-huh. And actually, Londra I think you kind of struggle with, especially with coming out of what you did with your last relationship.
I struggled with that, you guys. We had a lot of issues at first because I'm like,
we've had big time discussions about that.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. I had that coming into the relationship because this is new to me. I wasn't out there dating a lot and all that, which he was. This is new to me. So it's like now I'm in nurture mode when it comes to my kids. Yeah. So I was all about, let me nurture my kids. Let me recognize their feelings, all that kind of stuff, because
it's like,
I knew that they were already hurting.
And I think it's a lot of it is, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. I think a lot of it was that I was with their dad and look what happened. So how am I going to put this other man first?
Yeah. So, and that's definitely true. You guys.
I think that's probably what it was to something similar to that.
Yeah, that's actually a good point.
Because I'm protecting my kids. We're not even together, so I think that's a big sticking point, and that it might be what a lot of people deal with.
I was just going to say that
when people split, be like, why should I put my kids, or why should I put this other man first when their dad didn't even stick around, or me and their dad didn't even work, or whatever your situation is. I think that has a lot to do with how. I think especially females because
we go into
y'all are usually the ones
nurturing mode.
Well, that and y'all are usually the ones that end up with the kids when marriages split. You know what I mean, for the most part.
Yeah, and that's definitely true.
I think there's always different situations, and then us as men, we get to see both sides.
Yeah, and I did. I had a problem with it, and it did cause a lot of discussions, arguing in our relationship at first, you guys, because I didn't know how to navigate. Because at that point, I'm divorced, half wall up, half wall down.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I'm not going to get hurt again. So why would I put him over my kids?
And then here I am. That's exactly what I'm doing. And I'm like, and
we're butting heads, you guys.
Hang on.
Yeah.
Time out, because I'm prioritizing you over my kids.
It's so funny because he was, and here's me. I am used to my ex making me priority. Yeah. So I feel like, hey, I'm getting priority.
But I could feel it. Yeah. And I didn't, it's not something that I was like, I can't, no, we're not going to live like this. It's not going to be one way.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be.
Yeah, and that was me being bratty, I would say. Because that's what it was.
Like I said, it was it was that, but it was also you just protecting the kids because of, like I said earlier.
Again, it goes back to communicating, you guys. You have to communicate. When I tell you that is
it's huge.
Man, it's huge. And we had to talk many of times.
And we talk about it all the time.
It can make or break
We talk about stuff like that all the time. And this saying applies to so much of people's relationships. Man. People are only going to do what you allow them to do to you.
Yeah.
And that's for real. I mean, I could have sat back and just said, we're married, so, and I understand, you know, she's got the kids. But no, I mean, I had to validate my feelings also. I know I wanted to be with this woman for the rest of my life. And I also know that at that time, we had already seen 2 of the kids, and the third one was pretty much gone pretty quick. A couple years after we got married. Third one left, you know, the house and went to the military and whatnot. So I could see it. At the end of the day, we're not gonna have nothing. You know, if we don't get it right, by the time all these kids are gone, you know, and this was when Chloe was a baby. Yeah. I was like, man, I don't want to go through a divorce again. I don't want to have to be, you know,
because we were in it for the long haul, you guys.
Yeah.
And that brings me to the point of making sure you prioritize each other.
Yes.
In order to get eggs, you got to take care of the chicken.
There you go.
So in order for your kids to be good, you have to be good.
Exactly.
And that is him taking care of me taking care of him.
Yes.
So how do I expect him to be compassionate, good, all that stuff to my kids and his kids
when I'm lacking?
Yeah, when we're both lacking.
Yeah. The problem is complacency.
Yeah.
So you get to a comfortable spot in your marriage because it's happened to all of us.
Yeah.
It's happened to us.
It happened to us.
You know, more than once probably.
Yeah.
You know, we've gotten kind of complacent, and then all of a sudden it's like, wait, we're really not happy. We're not in a good space.
Yeah.
And then we're like this.
Yeah.
You know, and we're like wondering why.
Yeah.
And it's like we gotta get it together. We gotta start prioritizing. Make each other a priority. Date.
Yeah.
We have to date. We have to work on it. We can't just get up every day, go through the motions, and assume everything's gonna be fine. We got to. Hey, are you good? You know, check on each other. Are you good? You know, what do we need? What do we need to do? Can we spend we don't have to go spend a bunch of money
we can drive up the freeway
and
come back, you guys.
Yeah. But to put that person first, you know, and give that person the time that they need. Yeah, just let them
cater
know.
To them.
Yeah, let them know we want to spend time together. Because I mean, if you're going to be in a marriage, why would you be with somebody who you don't want to be around and spend time with?
I mean, it's all about, you know, catering to that person. Mm-hmm. So yes, I do cater to him. I mean, little bitty things, you guys.
You know, throughout the years, I've learned what little things that can make her happy. And she's learned little things that, you know, that make me happy.
You know, we talk about love languages a lot. My love language is acts of service and quality time. His love language is
words of affirmation and physical touch. Yeah.
So we both have different love languages, so we have to recognize that. I'm not a touchy-feeling person, but I know he is. So give and take. That's what you got to do. Our communicating helped me to understand, like, wait a minute. Because even now, this is for the people who have younger kids. I was that way. If you feel that way, you're not alone, because I felt that way. But what I can tell you is now, we have 6 kids together, you guys. And there's only 1 in the house now. Our kids are grown.
And living their life.
We could be lucky if we get a phone text from them, okay?
We go days.
Take our word for it, you guys.
Without hearing from them.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
Because
we know they're okay.
We have a busy life
we
already.
Got a busy life.
We have a busy life, so we know they have a busy life also.
Yeah. Now, my daughter, on the other hand, I got 2 daughters, and I got 1 in college. Now, me and her we talk every day. She's a girl.
We are like
my
besties.
boys.
Y'all are like besties.
Yeah,
so
we're like
I don't
besties.
think that's a little different.
Yeah. We're like, because we like each other. Yeah. My daughter likes me, and I like my daughter. Yeah. So it's more like a bestie situation when it comes to when your kids grow up. Again, this is for the people in the back. The kids grow up, they will leave you. My son is married, living his life with his wife, you guys. So not that he doesn't call me or anything, but I promise you it's not every day. And boys, of course, can be a little bit different. Like I said, me and my daughter have a good relationship that I built. Me and her built this together. We've went through our button heads too. Y'all know how teenagers are.
And so now, so now the only child that we have in the household that's full-time in the household with us is ours.
Is the kid we had together.
So had you kept prioritizing, you know, the other 3, we probably wouldn't be in a good space. Yeah. Because they'd be like,
we'd be looking at each other.
Because they'd be gone. They're gone.
Yeah.
And it'd be like, oh wow, you know what do I do now?
What did we do? What did we do?
Yeah.
If we didn't fix that, you have to really recognize that and understand. If you are a believer, you guys, God comes first, but then the spouse, and then the kids, because they will grow up and have their own family. And all we are doing is looking at each other. That's why we can sit here and talk to you guys now, because we don't hate each other.
And I mean, like I said, you don't pretty sure most people don't marry somebody just to have kids, and the kids are grown. Okay, see you later. Yeah. That's not, you know what I mean? I think all of our intention is to be with that person. To be with that person. Yeah, and not to say that people don't grow apart or, things happen and marriages dissolve or whatnot. But you get with somebody and marry somebody, and, you are supposed to be with that person. Yeah. So
this is my person. So y'all.
I mean, I can't imagine not wanting to spend time with you and us have a good time together. We still fuss and argue and
that's
whatnot.
Gonna happen, you guys.
I mean, but
we're two different people. Yeah. There's going to be disagreements always.
Yeah, exactly, because we don't agree.
How far
everything.
do you let it go? Yeah. That's what I always say. Just don't let it go far, you guys, and we do. We have disagreements all the time, so don't think.
And sometimes we do let it go too far. Yeah. I mean, honestly, we do. I don't know how you feel, but I mean, a lot of times I'll be like, man, that was stupid.
Yeah.
If I could have shut my mouth like a minute earlier, and just walked away and not said something.
What I always say, for me, this is what I think about. You guys, I'm like, what did we even argue about? How did it start? It was stupid.
Most of the time, it's something so stupid.
It's something so stupid, you guys.
And it ain't worth it. Yeah. But I mean, just us, I think it's human nature. Us just being, like I tell everybody all the time, we're both two very strong-willed people. Yeah. So that right there.
And we both have been through a lot.
Yeah. I mean, in the end, we both want the best for each other. We both want the best for each other.
And we know that. Yeah. Even though we argue or have a disagreement, in our heart, we know that he has my best interest in heart, and he knows I have his best interest at heart. Yeah. Even when I'm like, I'm not going to do this no more and all that stuff, I turn around and be like, hey, babe, did you get your lunch? Yeah. Did you have everything you need? All that kind of stuff. So it's definitely on that kind of level.
Thank God.
So, but we want everybody to understand that blended families can work. If you have an issue with kids, you need to address that immediately. Yeah. Because when kids think that they can disrespect the other parent or run your relationship,
they will ruin the relationship.
Yeah, they will ruin the relationship. Yes. So people really need to wholeheartedly think about that.
I think you'll end up seeing that. I mean, a lot of times things go hidden, that happen.
If a spouse is doing always other kind of stuff. I'm talking about.
But if your spouse is good to you, if your spouse is good to you, your spouse is good to your kids, don't let the kids ruin
That's what we're talking about.
Don't let the kids ruin your relationship. In the end, what you going to do? They're going to be gone, your spouse is gone, and be like, hey, haven't heard from y'all in a while. What's going on? Yeah. And then you're going to be... Can y'all come see me?
Exactly.
And you're going to be sitting there lonely and by yourself.
You're going to be divorced. Yeah. And lonely.
Yeah. And full of regrets.
And full of regrets. I should have just, if I had only did.
Especially if you really love that person. Yeah. I think people, let people walk away that, they knew they really loved.
I know for me, and I'm sure for him too, we don't want to have regrets. We got married with the intentions of, this is it. Yeah. We're done. No more. I couldn't even imagine doing this again. No. This is my person, and I'm sure we feel that same way about each other. Yep. Just think about those things, you guys, when it comes to blended families.
Relationships are like everything else. I mean, you're gonna get out of it what you put into it. So you have to put in the work. You have to put into it. You have to feed into your relationship. Yeah. You got to feed into the kids. Yeah. You have to feed into all of that. Yeah.
I believe you can do both simultaneously, you guys. I really do. Yeah. You can do it where your kids understand, like, you want your kids to see you in love. Yeah. You want your kids to see you in a good relationship, especially if they've been through a broken relationship. You want them to see that, to give them a sense of feeling like security.
That allows them to also to grow up and say, I can see that there's somebody out there for me if that's what I choose to do. If I choose to be in a relationship, I know that I have a good foundation on how it should go and how to make each other happy.
And I know we all want our kids to see us happy. Mm. So let them see that, you guys. And that means prioritizing your spouse and recognizing your kids' feelings also.
If we're happy,
they're going to be happy. They're going to be winning, I promise you. Yeah. Ask Chloe. So ask our youngest daughter, you guys, only because she's still in the house. Yep. They're going to be winning. You can even ask my 21-year-old. Ask her who's winning. she knows that she can count on us.
Yeah.
Sometimes when we argue, she laughs at us.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, we're going to get out of here, you guys.
They all be laughing at us. So.
This has been an amazing topic.
It really was.
Many more to come. So if you want to send us, definitely put in the comments what you guys are going through.
Yeah.
We like
or
to
if
hear
there's
your
a topic
comments.
that y'all would like for us to, to talk about on another podcast.
So definitely leave us a comment, you guys, in the comment section. We want to hear from you.
Yeah.
We want to hear what you're going through, what things that you can get some insight on. You guys hit us up in the comment section. You can email us at mixedandmarriedpodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Send in your questions.
If you don't want to put it in the comments, it's something you don't want to put in the comments, you can email us.
We definitely want to hear from you guys. Hear your opinion of what we said. What do you think? We want to hear it, you guys. So definitely let us know.
Give us your opinion on give us your opinion on our topic.
Yeah. And if you have TikTok, you guys, make sure you're following us on TikTok. We go live on TikTok.
Oh, we have fun.
We have
a lot of fun on TikTok.
You can see us in real time. You can talk to us in real time. You guys, when I tell you we have fun, we have fun.
Yep.
So head over to Mixed and Married on TikTok. Join the crowd.
Another good one.
Yeah,
I like it.
Another good one.
Yeah.
We will see you guys next time, okay?
Yep.
Bye, you guys. Okay, I know this is a bad analogy. You got to take care of the chicken, you know what I mean? Before you get to the hens. Is that a good word?
No.
That's a good...
That's not a good analogy.